Chapter 29. Torah, 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 sneak attack. In a heavy training session with King Kong, fighting each other hard, breathing hard, both throwing hard, I was higher than a kite. Killer resisting mightily. A loud crack. A knee snapped. A fall to the mat. I laid on my stomach, afraid to move. King Kong staring with his mouth open. Others were staring. I said, leave me alone. Don't touch me. I took a deep breath, blew it out slowly, saying silently to myself, relax me, protect me, help me relax. Suddenly my body went limp, slowly but completely limp. I asked Tom Gross, roll me over slowly, and somebody put a hand under my knee and lift it very slowly. My knee popped right back in. Everyone grabbed me under the underarms. They lifted me. I limped into the antique shop. My leg was like a noodle. I plopped into a chair, shaking my head back and forth. Dickie shaking his head back and forth. He knew I was hurt bad. He didn't want to say anything negative. Everybody in the dojo knew I wouldn't be back for sure this time. Just like it was predicted years ago by Ishikawa. Dickie, here, drink a cup of coffee, Tommy, he said very compassionately. No thanks, I better get going. I have to drive back to Wilmington. I'm afraid to stop too long. My leg is starting to stiffen up. Help me to my car. After the longest drive in my memory, I pulled up outside the house. I crawled up the steps. I limped through the door. I fell in the living room, and I crawled to the third floor. Kay was wide awake with that look. I looked at her and I said, I think I broke my fucking leg. Damn, all that fucking work for nothing. Next morning, Kay, my leg is so swollen I can't get out of bed. Please help me get my dictaphone for me. And out of sheer boredom, after she left for work, I picked up my dictaphone and started to dictate. Something strange happened. I couldn't stop. And 5 days later, I finished part 1 of a book called Now, a Lonesome Warrior. What do you know? My petition number 3 hit. Good speaking skills. And every word I said on the tape was spontaneous. It was the first half of this book. April Fool's Day came. Then, the day after Easter, I was scheduled for major knee surgery by Dr. Axe at the Christiana Hospital. The operation was declared successful. You'll play judo again, he said. After a week in the hospital and recovering at home, Kay, part 2 of this book is coming. I can feel it. My knee is so painful. After 5 days in the hospital on that damn knee bending machine, I was really doped up. Actually, I was enjoying it in a strange sort of way. I felt free, and Andy and Kelly couldn't do enough for me. I grabbed the dictaphone one morning, and in 5 more days I finished the rest of the story. At least that's what I had believed. Let's keep our honor clean. I started serious physical therapy in June. 2 weeks later, I attended my first judo class in a large knee brace. I trained lying on my side with my leg locked straight. Joey was sympathetic but really cautious. Dickie was adamant about not training on that knee. Joey won the nationals again in Hawaii. Dickie's videotape was finished. He instructed the producer to put the '72 Olympic trial film of the wrong referee decision in it as the introductory lead-in to the video. That was his scam. And let the viewers make up their own mind about who got screwed by organized judo. Joey was promoted to 4th degree. He finished his own videotape and is thinking about writing a book. My typist finished writing A Lonesome Warrior, Part 1. We called it Going for Gold back then. And I finished editing. We all decided it should be called American Warriors Going for Gold. Late summer, at the restaurant for coffee with Dickie and Pat after a rigorous workout, Dickie said, Tommy, you're a black belt. My jaw dropped open. Joey and I decided to award you black belt. You fight better than the black belts I fought in Japan, and Joey thinks your mat work is superior. You're a sensei. Congratulations. I bet you'll enjoy the ride home tonight, grinning from ear to ear. When can I wear it? Glancing excitedly at Pat. As soon as the paperwork gets done, so don't tell anybody. Both of us laughed, and Pat laughed along. The offer to become a black belt by Dickie and Joey really did the trick, even though the paperwork never did get done. Actually, I knew why, because paperwork is a bitch. Life is short and sweet, but can be exciting if you're doing exactly what you like. Following the advice of a close friend, I quit practicing law completely and took on a temporary job in the Red Clay School District as a substitute teacher. I taught government, mathematics, English, history, sewing, and clothing, home economics, and gym. But most exciting was the 6 weeks of teaching while in my straight leg brace at the Positive Learning Center. The Positive Learning Center was where junior and senior high school kids end up who hate going to school. The primary job of the teacher is to motivate them enough to stay in school under any circumstances. As I said every day, just show up, you'll get the prize. It isn't considered appropriate to even address intellectual issues. I decided, hell, everyone gets a fair shake in intellectual issues when I teach, and I took the job very seriously. I taught government by playing games. I became convinced that this new wave of souls were here to challenge all of us in concepts of discipline, authority, public education, parenting, general concepts of public decency, and everything else we're all supposed to be about. The first week at school, one died, a kid named Melvin. He had pneumonia and hadn't been in school for 3 days. He walked to the hospital the night before I heard about it by himself, and he died 10 minutes later. It really shook me up. What a lesson. Teaching is a life and death situation. It has absolutely nothing to do with education and has a lot to do with caring. In my own misery, I had totally forgot about caring for others since the peacekeepers were killed, or at least I only cared about myself. I cried all day in front of the kids. They all knew I cared. The last day on the job, a big snowstorm trapped everybody for a couple of extra hours before the buses came. And during the wait, a very quiet and shy young lady warrior of 14 years old, who had been listening to my talking about training on my bad leg and planning to go into the National Judo Championships, she smiled at me and handed me a folded, handwritten poem titled, "Hoorah!" He started out a little bit confused, just like you and me, not sure where he was or who he wanted to be. Others thought he would never do well, but what the hell? Look at him now. He's going for the gold, being all that he can be. By Pamela Eveline Boyer. Thanks, Pam, I needed that. Honestly, it turns me off to think about those particular years at the explosion in Beirut. I hate writing about it, and I hate talking about it. I was miserable. I was extremely depressed, angry, bitter, and resentful of all politicians and my personal friends, especially the ones that required me to suck up or kowtow to them in public. I had to make a dramatic change in my personal life and build new goals. The medical folks call this post-traumatic stress syndrome. I call it emotionally wiped out and a need to start over again. In any case, I'm deleting all the stuff about those years from my memory and forgetting about it forever, period. As a final note, during a father-son conversation during our 3 times a week training rides to Ocean City, one night Pat asked me, "What is this spiritual quest all about that is making Mom so nervous?" I told him that I actually did not know what it was. I just sensed something. I sensed something bigger and smarter than me, an inner voice guiding me since a long time ago. I learned to talk to it as my best friend. I think it was because I had no parental authority during my childhood to suppress my need for inner guidance. So I learned to listen and talk to it myself rather than talking to others. Anyway, who really knows anything about God or spirit? There's no proof, so it's all about faith in yourself and what you personally think or experience is real. I explained to Pat that I felt like I was a pack mule, carrying something special on my back. And I did not even try to understand what it was, because it was my job just to be the mule. I listen to my inner thoughts. I say what I think I hear. I write about it, and that's it. It just comes to me that way. I have no idea what's behind it. It may be spiritual, or I may be just plain nuts. Who knows? And the next type of reading is going to be the best fun I ever had in my entire life, I think. It's called Part 5, Off to Africa.